we all need more laughter in our lives? Don't you need more laughter in your life? Certainly know that I definitely do. Our guest today is Sarah Routman, author Sarah Routman, who has a brand new, exciting book out that will teach us just how to bring more laughter into our lives. And the techniques might surprise you. So let's not hang around here. Let's go talk to Sarah. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Nadia.
Well, what we want to talk today is about your book, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit. Let's have you tell us about yourself and what you do as how it applies to this book, The Power of Discovery in the Power of Laughter.
Discover the power of laughter.
Discover the Power of Laughter.
Okay, well, currently I have a laughter yoga business. I don't like to call it laughter yoga because yoga enthusiasts aren't quite sure it's yoga, and non-yoga enthusiasts don't want anything to do with it because it's yoga. So I like to call it purposeful, playful laughter. And I've been doing this for 20 years, but as a business for 10. And along the way, I was a keynote speaker at a conference. And afterwards, a lot of people approached me and wanted something that they could take away. They clearly wanted to continue doing the practice of laughter. They wanted to remember how to do it. And that was a little bit challenging for them. So I created initially a small keychain. It was about a 4 by 4 inch square, maybe 5 by 5 inches. And I laminated it and made it into a keychain. And it really was a little summary of laughter yoga, the history, the health benefits. Why would you want to do this? A few of the laughter games, and a reminder to join my Monday morning laughter call, which I've done for 10 years now. And after a couple of years, I thought, this needs to be expanded upon. The more I learned about laughter, the more excited I became to share it with more and more people. And I just thought this would be a great tool. So I said, I'm going to make a book. Now, my sister, my identical twin sister, Rachel, she was always helping me and encouraging me and saying, oh, let me help you design that graphically because she's much better at that than I am. And so I told her about this book and she said, oh, that's great. Let me help you. And so it was going to expand from about 18 pages to 50. And before you know it, she said, you need to make it better. It's not done yet. You need to make it better. What about this? What about this? And a period of time existed where she was doing more research. She was always doing it in the guise of, she was always doing it to support me. And before you know it, she was doing so much research and doing so much work that she said, I really think that I should be somehow part of this book. So originally it was going to be written by Sarah Routman with Rachel Siegelman. I guess that's different than being a co-author. And then the more time that went on, it became clear that she needed to be a co-author. So in the end, we co-authored the book, and it has taken, I started the project 10 years ago. She came into it about 9 years in. So it's been a long, long project, but it's been a labor of love. We don't always see eye to eye on doing everything, but it's been a wonderful thing. And so prior to doing laughter, I was a high school English and drama teacher. I studied poetry and photography in college. I later became a painting artist and a coloring book artist. And what's amazing is that each thing that I call on in my past, I absolutely have recognized has contributed in some way, shape, or form to the writing of this book and into my laughter practice.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that explains how this whole exciting inspiration came about between two identical twin sisters,
Yes.
which is always interesting to people because I think most of the time there's a symbiotic relationship going on. I suppose on some occasions that's the opposite case, but you two seem to really pull things together between the two of you and the roles you're playing now in this book project. Well, I've wondered about this type of laughter, and I've participated in it with you a few times, and I found it so interesting because I'd really never heard of it
Mhm.
before. What specifically, I think you touched on it a minute ago, but let's talk more about that. What specifically do you call it?
Right.
And self-started laughter, or there was a better word, wasn't
So
there?
intentional laughter.
Intentional.
So in the book, we call it purposeful, playful laughter because there's a strong element of play that's necessary when you do this. But it's actually called technically laughter yoga. But when we wrote the book, we said, we don't really want this focus to be only on laughter yoga. We really wanted to research the claims that are made sometimes. We wanted to be sure that they were real, not just somebody saying them in a blog post and then everybody taking it as gospel. We also really found ourselves fascinated by the history of laughter itself. So the book has become sort of part memoir. It's my story, followed by her story, because we came to laughter very, very differently in our lives. And the truth is, as twins, that twin journey was also different for each of us. And yet we've come together in a really wonderful way. We complement each other very nicely. I'm a very creative person, as is Rachel, but differently. And she went to law school and wrote for law reviews. So her knowledge about research and indexing and putting that sort of piece together definitely was something I lacked. She would write a piece and say, okay, you take it and make it fun. And so we really complemented each other nicely in the writing of the book. And so we call it Purposeful Playful Laughter. And the title was even interesting. We played with so many things. We even hired a company to help us name the book, and then we rejected all of them. And eventually, when you break it down and simplify it, what we were really doing was helping people discover the power of laughter. So that's how it got its name, was just breaking it down instead of doing all the search engines and what already exists as a book and what we both liked and so on. We just thought, what are we actually doing? We're helping people to discover the power of laughter. And it really is such a powerful thing. And we also really wanted to make the point a lot of people have a strong association between laughter and humor. And we wanted people to understand you don't have to have a sense of humor. You don't have to think anything's funny. Laughter is so powerful by itself. And when people understand the nuance, the science behind it, the research about it, it's a really powerful thing.
Well, and that it was a good point that you brought up because I have often wondered about that. But as you mentioned, once you start the laughing, once you start the purposeful laughing, you are laughing.
Exactly. And you feel good. All those chemicals that get released in laughter, they get released whether you're faking it or, pretending to laugh or whether you're actually laughing. And once you start doing this and understanding it, sometimes it's really hard to tell. Did I just laugh on purpose or was that real laughter? So I'm just going to show you that right now. I'm going to start laughing and you see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. It's feeling good. We're having a good time.
Exactly. And it doesn't really matter whether that was a laugh that you pretended and then got generated. And that actually is what happens. You start laughing and you kind of maybe are skeptical a little or hesitant. So you might go like that. Or
Yeah.
but then somebody else will start laughing and it becomes contagious. And before you know it, that simulated laughter becomes real.
I think in a group that's real important. And I noticed that when I started to laugh with you, I thought, yeah, this is fun. And then my face starts going, and then it comes out of my voice. Then it's coming from deeper within me,
Yes.
and my voice is laughing. and it's virtually no different. Then all of a sudden, we're laughing.
Right,
We're
exactly.
laughing. And
And
you're right. I've
it,
heard about those endorphins that are
yes,
released.
that's right. It's endorphins to start with when you smile. And then as you laugh, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, they all come flooding in. And that's why so many people have a memory of laughing. Like I can remember laughing with my friend 6 years ago at that house. That's all I remember about why we laughed. I just remember that it felt good because we have the memory of the feeling good. And what triggered the laughter is less important.
I do
And
have a couple of memories with friends like that.
Mhm.
Well, how would you describe someone who has your book, and how would they use it? What do they need to do to get the most out of your book?
Well, we've given in the introduction some descriptions exactly of that because we thought it would help people. So we delineate in the introduction a little bit of what they can expect in each chapter. And the truth is, you can start at the beginning and read it all the way through, or you can just flip to a page and see where you are. So, the way that the book is laid out, as I said, chapter 1 and 2 are my story followed by her story. Then we talk about the key elements of the laughter practice that we have. We end up talking about the history, the health benefits, and then there's a bunch of it that is the actual games. Here's how you play the games with step-by-step instructions. And then what if you want to create your own games based on the stresses you're having in your life? Here's how you do that. And all the way through, we lace it with stories from real experiences that we've had with clients, with other people and ourselves. There's a chapter at the end that celebrate with laughter. So if you ended up flipping to that at the beginning, you'd find out about laughter holidays or about how you might insert laughter into your own celebrations. And then there's lots of resources at the end. So what we hope is that people will, it's written in a very interactive way. So what we hope people will do is actually shed their inhibitions, especially if you're reading alone, although we encourage you to read it with a friend or at least call a friend in the middle and say, hey, do this with me. But the idea is to actually do the games. And we have things called jump starts to get you ready. We have speed bumps to recognize that some people are not as ready to laugh. So, interestingly, Rachel was not as ready to laugh. So, by sharing her story, we give people permission wherever they are to come along. And we even created something called the laughter participation scale that we inserted a few places within the book so people can gauge, where am I? Am I curious yet? Do I want to try this? And so the goal really is that this will become a book that you keep with you, that you want to share with someone else, because we really believe that everyone needs this, especially in today's times. People are so stressed about whatever they are stressed about. We need more laughter. And the message is it doesn't matter whether life is good or anything is funny. We need the laughter because it will make us feel good and it will clear our minds and help us get through whatever tough times we need to.
That's so important.
Mhm.
Well, is there a question that I might not think to ask that you like the audience to know about?
Oh dear. Well, I think people are asking a lot, is your book available on Amazon? I can't find it. And it actually is not available on Amazon. People can only find it through us individually or through our website, discoverthepoweroflaughter.com. And we did that intentionally. We have spent a long time researching the back end of writing a book. Writing the book was hard enough. And then people were saying, oh, wait, that's the easy part. And I couldn't believe they were saying that, but it was true. There are a lot of steps along the way at the end of writing a book that are set up for people to make it easier for you. But it's also with a sacrifice of quality, with a sacrifice of being able to be in touch with your readers. Like if you put a book on Amazon, you're going to find out, oh, you sold 20 books today and yay, here's how much money you made. They're not going to tell you who bought your books. They're not going to tell you where they live. And we want to have a personal relationship with our readers. So outside of the book, I offer a free laughter call every Monday morning on the phone. Rachel offers a free Zoom call every Tuesday morning. We know our readers. Now we hope that we'll have a much wider reader base and more people will know it and read the book than just people we know. But for the moment, we really want when somebody purchases our book or when someone reads our book for them to suddenly decide, oh, maybe I'll join the Monday call. Maybe I'll join the Zoom call. And yeah, I want to join the birthday club, or I just have a question and I want to be in touch with them and we'll be able to answer it directly. It's not going to some black hole somewhere. So I think that's really the only thing is that we really want people to know that we are accessible. And of course, we hope that our book will become a bestseller, not because 200 of our best friends bought it on one day and then it becomes the Amazon bestseller. And by the way, those of you who are out there wanting to become a bestseller, to us, it's really about having lots of people all over the world read your book, not about whether you check this box of Amazon bestseller or New York Times bestseller. And I am happy to report that I've only had the book for 1 month and 3 days in my possession. And already the book is somewhere in 4 continents, 7 countries, and 26 states. So we are thrilled with that. And it is also available not only as a print book, but we made it as an ebook, an audiobook. And because I don't personally have an e-reader, but I sometimes want to be able to read it on my computer or on my phone, we decided to create a PDF version. So the PDF version maintains our quality of you get to see exactly how we designed the book, and an e-reader sometimes takes that away. So those are important things that I wanted people to know.
Oh, fantastic. Well, before we go, do you have any advice to someone with a book inside them, someone similar to you?
Right. Well, I would say definitely do it. Um, People told me, writers told me early on, Sarah, it can take years to write a book. And if you're writing the book because you think you're going to make money on it, think again. And those were huge words of wisdom. And I took them, in it with a grain of salt and didn't pay close attention. And initially I'm like, oh no, it's not going to take that long. I'm not like everybody. But guess what? If you want a quality product, then you end up hiring people along the way to edit your book, to copy edit your book, to proofread your book, to design the interior. I cannot say enough about our book designer. She really took our vision and she helped us create both the interior and the exterior. And it's just, it takes a lot of people. And I guess the only other thing I would say is don't be afraid to rely on your friends and ask people to proofread, to give you ideas. Um, Recognize that it's your own and you can do with it what you want, that advice. But it really, lots of gratitude to everyone who touched our book in any way along the journey. And just go ahead and write what's in your heart and share it with the world because chances are there's somebody out there who really needs and wants what you have to say.
Sarah, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I feel like I want to end with a big laugh. Will you join me again?
All right, let's laugh. Ah,
Thank you so much, Nadia. It was such a pleasure.
you too, Sarah. Bye bye.
Bye.